Welcome to the Cozy Convos podcast. I am your host, Elijah, and today, you guys, we are going to be chatting about something very interesting. I'm going to be sharing my experience being a queer kid who doesn't seem to fit in anywhere.
Let's have a conversation and make it cozy. Let's dive into the unknown so we can continue growing. It won't always feel so comfortable letting go of limited beliefs. But we know we have big dreams and goals, so we're committed even when truth gets heavy. Let's have a conversation and make it cozy. Let's address the hard things and still make it feel so cozy. Let's embrace our flaws so we can feel even more cozy. This safe space won't make you feel anything other than cozy.
We are back with episode 3, you guys. Oh my goodness, 3 episodes in. Comment down below, how are you guys feeling? Are we liking the series so far? I would love to hear your thoughts. Today's topic is once again very loaded for me, but I do feel that it is important to share from someone who is actually coming from the LGBTQ plus IABCD AFG community. But I know there's a lot of people out there like me, and I know that sharing my story will probably help somebody just kind of clear their head or get a better understanding of where they are. So sit back, relax, grab your snack, grab your wine, your popcorn, your journal if you want to write some things down, whatever it is that's going to make you feel comfortable at this time, because we are about to dive into it. Now, I will admit, you guys, it is very hard existing in a society where people think they know you based off of a label. It's just crazy as I've grown up to witness adult people deciding that they feel a certain way about me before actually getting to know me independently as an individual. And it really sucks because I feel like it creates this wall, this barrier for a lot of us queer people. When my belief is that there should be no division whatsoever. We are all one, we all come from the same infinite source. And I know this is another phrase that we hear all of the time, but I honestly feel like until it's applied, it's always going to be this kind of fantastical quote. And it's very interesting, you guys. I met an older man. And wait a minute, pump your brakes, pump your brakes, and not an older man like that, honey. But he was a guy, he was a part of the Sikh faith, or the Sikh faith, I believe. And I actually read a book surrounding his religion. Or I don't know if I would call it religion, his spirituality, his faith, whatever they classify it as. But I do remember resonating with a lot of the things that I found in that faith while reading that book. So imagine my surprise when the universe brought somebody of that faith along on my journey, onto my path. And he said something that at the time I was just kind of like, okay, it sounds nice. But then later I thought about it and I said, wait, he may have just said something that was truly and deeply eye-opening. He said we shouldn't have countries with different names. It should just be called the world. It should just be one. And like I said, when I first heard that, I was like, okay, yeah, that's true. But then I started to kind of ponder with that phrase in my head, like I said. And then I was like, wow, what if the division of countries or the labels of different countries and the cultures and everything like that is kind of keeping us in this box of separation, of division? Walk with me now. Of course, there's differences. There's different climates, different environments, those kinds of things. But I think a lot of the times we get on the internet and we see American people are like this, British people are like that. And a lot of the times it's this discourse, it's this kind of back and forth, it's this war zone, honestly. And I think the difference in our cultures is really man-made. I don't feel like we're different spiritually at all. I think that everything that's different about us had to be taught. But let me move up off of that. Okay, just a little spiel, because he's really said something that I feel like resonates for me in this topic that I'm speaking with you all about today. But of course, with that being said, we do live in a system that thrives off of hate and separation, and that trickles down into minorities. Now, to tap into a little bit of my background, a little bit of my story, if you will. As a queer kid, I was always multi-dimensional. I had different sides to me. I could be one thing, but I could also be this completely opposite thing. Always had layers. And of course, very early on, being a guy, I always, hung around boys. And looking back, I realized it was not a negative experience at all. I enjoyed playing with the guys. I enjoyed sports. I enjoyed bouncing around on the trampoline, playing around the neighborhood, until you, girl, where my girls at, girl, that used to play outside, and girl, you had to come home before the street lights came on. Girl, that was me. And I had my time. Now, even though I hung out with the guys, I also realized I liked to hang out with the girls as well. Maybe a little bit more. And being a little boy at the time, I can see that I really gravitated towards both. I really gravitated towards the masculine energies, and I really gravitated towards the feminine energies. And I feel like we are all a balance of, I don't feel like this is kind of a fact. We all have the divine masculine in us, and we all have the divine feminine in us. And I was just interested in exploring both, when a lot of the times, being a boy, I was told you can only explore this side. That's what people were saying without saying saying what I'm executing with you all today, if that makes sense. And it confused me a lot as a kid, not really understanding why the gender roles were so separate. Guys have to be friends with guys, girls have to be friends with girls. I mean, sometimes, early on I had girlfriends, but I actually don't know if that's just because everybody could tell that I was, one of the girls, so they just kind of let me play with the girls. But I don't know. But I do feel like guys and girls should be able to hang out with it just being more than, relationships and baby making and sexual intercourse and all these kinds of things. But that's another story, another topic for another day. But with all of that, finding my place in the world was very difficult because I feel like I was a little bit more open than a lot of kids my age. And mind you, I started trying on heels and putting on towels over my head when I was like 4. And by towels, I mean tying it around my head and acting like it was hair, honey. But I always loved to express myself before I knew what expression was. And mind y'all, I came out when I was in 6th grade. Even with me being so young, I always had this strong resistance to conforming. I was so heavily drawn to feminine energy and all that it embodied, and I didn't back down from that. I feel like I explored my masculine side a lot, of course, being a guy, playing with them, doing the sports and the activities and stuff that the boys do. But growing up, I always wanted to express and experience the side of me that was always condemned, which was my feminine side. So imagine me being kind of in this weird in-between. A queer kid who's curious about exploring his feminine and his masculine energies in a society that's boxed in, closed in, and sees the world in this black and white picture. And of course, I experienced that force of trying to put me in a box or put me in a label. Not saying I didn't face backlash as a child trying to explore his feminine energy. Of course I did. I just think that it was so obvious who I was very early on that kind of going against it was a losing battle, even though it was a fight that was put up against me. I'm not gonna hold you. But getting into school, I often found myself in the spotlight while also being the scapegoat, which is very weird. And honestly, it is the story of my life. I feel like I experienced this more once I entered middle school and once I was, like I said, I came out in 6th grade. So once I was out, and I'm sure a lot of my queer kids can relate, people love our humor, they love our style, they love our personality, but in the same breath, they will think that we are these sinful, mentally unstable creatures who don't know what's going on, who's sick in the head. And it was a kind of mind fuck because I'm like, how can people like me and laugh at my jokes and want to be around me, but at the same time pick on me and kind of, ice me out in certain moments? It's like this weird up and down, this weird in between, and I don't know where I fit because people are making me feel like I don't fit in anywhere. And in school, I was often surrounded by fighting, smoking, drama. I never felt comfortable in these hostile environments to express my opposing interests. And I know a lot of my queer kids, a lot of my black kids can relate. Kind of growing up in certain environments where certain things are deemed as cool, acceptable, but as soon as you want to read a book, as soon as you want to do something creative or artsy, as soon as you want to maybe listen to pop music, something that's not the typical norm, honey, you're looked at like you're a little crazy, or you're deemed as, oh, you want to be white, or you know, my girls who get me, get me. And one of the things that I sacrificed because I realized it wasn't like acceptable or it wasn't cool was my gift of music, singing. So that's why I stopped making it a priority up until 2024. And yes, that was something that I experienced in school all of the time, trying to dim my light or dim down what I wanted to do, dim down my intellect to kind of fit in with the environment I was surrounded by. And that has trickled into today, even though today it is a little bit different, and I will explain. Back when I was younger, I found myself holding back. I found myself closing off that side of me because I knew that it wasn't something that a lot of the people around me were comfortable with, were used to, or resonated with. But now I'm more in a season where I embrace those differences. And taking my spiritual journey, you guys, has disconnected me from today's culture. My interests don't resonate for majority of today's society. Like, I don't know what music everybody's listening to. I don't know what people are hyped about. What's the trends and the this and the that. I don't know anything that's happening right now in today's society. And of course I have my moments of connection, but I feel like most of the time I'm kind of in my own little world doing things that typically you don't see people doing or caring about. And I do know that my people are out there somewhere and I will meet them eventually one day. But embracing my differences has allowed me to be more comfortable with my isolation because I understand the spirit uses it as a source to strengthen my self-love and my self-awareness. And I appreciate how much that's helped me grow as an individual. So today's episode is not really for me to complain or really talk about what I feel I'm missing in my life. It's more so about me embracing it and understanding how all of these events in my life has led me to where I am now, so that those of you who are on the same path or may have had similar experiences in the past don't feel like you are alone. It is okay to be the oddball out of the bunch. If you're someone like me, you're kind of isolated, you're to yourself, you don't really have friends, you're just kind of figuring things out on your own, you're on a path of self-discovery. 9 times out of 10, you've broken broken out of that barrier that would have kept you from discovering your authenticity, something most people don't accomplish. So I'm learning that being the queer kid who doesn't fit in anywhere is actually a gift. It saves me from being around a lot of people who won't appreciate my energy, a lot of people who will misunderstand me, or a lot of people who will try to put me in a box. Because I learned with you showing up as your authentic self, a lot of the times that will challenge people's beliefs and how they think the world should be. So subconsciously, a lot of people project onto you, or they will try to pick on you or bully you or just push you to a point of no return just so you can conform and be somebody that they are more comfortable with seeing. So when you're facing backlash, whether it be online, whether it be in person, a lot of the times it's not really about you. It's about the beliefs that you're challenging. You're actively showing people that you can be this way, be happy, and be connected to source without having to compromise the parts of yourself that we have been told are ugly, that we have been told are sinful or are not right. So as I embrace my differences, I also encourage you all to do so as well. Knowing that I don't fit into the status quo is so liberating. Oh, it's so freeing, girl, because I used to want to fit in so bad. I used to be a serial people pleaser. I used to want everybody and everything to accept me. And that was so damaging to my spirit. It was so confusing for the little boy in me that desperately needed me to be who I am now. A boy who now loves himself enough to not put himself in a situation to where he has to dim himself down or compromise his peace, compromise his happiness to make other people happy, to make other people comfortable. Knowing that you don't fit in and that you're not trying to fit in is something to be celebrated. And it's so beautiful how everything kind of comes into play. It's like when you kind of isolate yourself, you're able to see the truth. You're able to see who you really are. You're able to realize, I'm beautiful in both my feminine and my masculine energies. I don't have to choose one or the other because I am both. I am duality. I am yin and I am yang. I am the infinite source in all that it encompasses. And infinite source encompasses feminine and masculine energies that have been placed into all of our spirits. So I feel like when you are in those spaces with people who think a certain way, that energy is going to rub off on you. You're always going to feel off. That's why I begin to appreciate my years of isolation. I don't mind the word isolation, but honestly, it's not isolation. It's just me being in my own energy and learning about myself, because there's been so many points in my life where I did not know who I was, where I was listening to everybody else, where I was surrounded by individuals who made me who they wanted me to be. So I'm grateful that I'm getting those years back alone, though, so that I can discover who I truly am and break away from all of the projections that have always been pushed upon me. So instead of viewing myself how I did when I was younger, as far as, my uniqueness and the differences in my being, seeing them as a bad thing or seeing them as something that needs to be hidden, that needs to be dimmed, pulled back so that I can be accepted, I now think the complete opposite. I don't want to fit in. Come on, somebody. I don't want to fit in. I don't want to be a part of the status quo. I want to be Elisha and I want to be to myself until I find my people who think like me. So to all of you beautiful souls out there, you don't even have to be queer. Anybody who just has some sort of uniqueness, some sort of gift. Maybe you have an art or a talent that you are very passionate about. And we could honestly kind of get into, which I may, dibble and dabble into another topic, but how, creatives have to navigate this world a little bit differently as well, because a lot of the times our visions are not taken seriously because they are not a part of what the system has told us we should strive for or care about. So, just the entire group, whoever gravitates towards this video, I just want to speak to you. Take some time to disconnect, to find yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, whether it be disconnecting from people, disconnecting from social media, disconnecting from your job, your 9-to-5, or whatever it is that you feel like is kind of contributing to this confusion. And for most of us, it's multiple things, but it's more important to take that time to explore yourself creatively, to explore yourself spiritually, so that you're not hiding or withdrawing all of the beautiful parts of you that make you special. Even though we are all one, we are all unique as well. And that's the beautiful thing about it. That's the beautiful thing about the universe. We can all be just alike, but we can also be different as well. So embrace it, honey. Embrace it. And go on this beautiful, beautiful journey with me. Well, that is going to wrap up episode 3 of the Cozy Convos podcast. I had so much fun with you guys on this episode. This was a great topic that I love discussing. Probably going to tap into it some more times, in the future. But if this resonated with you guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also leave down a comment below, because I'm the type of person I love to hear what my people think. I love to hear what you guys are feeling. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my music channel. The link will be in the description. I have some new covers and performances I've just released, so check me out, love bug. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode of the Cozy Convos podcast. Kisses, hugs, and blessings. Mwah.